What is the biggest lie about programming? This tweet got thousands of likes, hundreds of responses, and there are so many good takes and so many terrible takes. So let's go over some of the biggest lies in programming. You must learn how to swap two variables without a third variable. I mean, yeah, this is a good little piece of knowledge to have, and I've actually used it before in real programming, but the reality is no, you don't need to know that. So okay, check mark. Follow my path and you'll get to the same destination. Depends on the destination. This is one of those relative statements that is kind of asinine in the sense that, yes, if the path is work your ass off, really try hard, really deep dive, yes, you will get to a destination that is similar or actually the same destination as the person telling you. But of course, it just is totally on what they're saying to do. And yes, there's always luck involved, okay? Yes, if someone says, hey, I'm a VP of engineering, you can do all the thing Mr. VP of engineering did, but that does not mean you will now become VP of engineering. We need gatekeepers. Said nobody ever. Okay, little side note here. Let's side note this one. First off, gatekeepers, there is no one actually keeping the gates, okay? Second off, there are people that are gonna just say mean things to you. If you let that affect you and be like, oh, I can't actually do it because this guy on the internet told me in a tweet that I can't do it. Come on, you gotta get a little bit stronger than that. People are gonna say mean stuff about you all the time. This is just what life is about. But here's the deal, that you can take those mean things said and you can actually use it as encouragement to yourself and be like, you know what? I think I am good enough. Therefore, I am going to try hard enough and I am going to hurdle over all these insults and I am going to be better than that. Now, you shouldn't be motivated just to spite somebody. That's disgusting. But it is really good to be motivated to believe in yourself. I believe in myself so bad that I often maybe overcommit a little bit to things. And I don't actually have the skills, but I learned the skills and I know I can do it with enough time. Clean code is just for people that write books and blogs. It's and is a matter of taste without technical reasons. Again, this is actually a matter of taste statement. Okay, what makes code clean? For me personally, the things that I focus on is it testable? If the code is testable, for me, I don't really care much about it. If the function does too many things, yeah, you gotta break it up. Okay, I wanna see things broken up. Oh, but if you used this method versus that method, if you did this versus that, I honestly don't care. Switch statements, if statements, whatever. Okay, while loop, for loop. If there's a good reason to use it, I don't really care. What I care is that you can test it. Hand me a piece of code that is not going to break. And if it does break, I have a good understanding of what were the expectations via some sort of unit test. There you go. Clean code for me. I know some people are gonna get really, did that rub you the wrong way? Did that rub you a little wrong? Okay, are you chafing a little bit? Do you need a little coconut oil? Oh, that hurts me. Okay, I really love my beautiful if statements and I only use functions because classes are the devil. Okay, I hear you. Slow it down there. It shouldn't take me too long to fix this bug. Okay, this actually just hurts my feelings. Okay, I just want you to know that this is too personal. You obviously have been watching my Twitch stream and this is emotionally painful. Okay. Ashley, not funny. That it guarantees you a high-paying job. Nope! What it guarantees is your location and who you know. Okay, so first off, it does not guarantee your location. I think that just might be a grammatical error when reading this. I think what he's trying to say is that your location guarantees whether or not you're getting a high-paying job. That's actually pretty debatable. You can get a six-figure job in San Francisco and be living below the poverty line, okay? San Francisco is a horrible place, yet it pays six-figure jobs, okay? So, no, a high-paying job is really relative to your market. If you live in a place that $1,200 per month is considered good income, you potentially could get $2,000 per month doing programming, and that's great. That's a high-paying job relatively. Now, is that as high as, say, what you'd be in San Francisco? No, but the cost of living in San Francisco is absurd. So that is it's such a relative type of, I just hate these type of tweets, right? Where it's just like, no, that's not how life works. And this whole who you know business, here's the deal. All the high paying jobs, we all don't know each other, okay? Not every last person in any one of these FANG companies are like, oh yeah, Ted from marketing, yeah, he got me the job here as senior programming. No, it just doesn't work that way. The reality is that it doesn't matter who you know. That's what makes tech so dang awesome. It doesn't matter whether you live in BFE, Montana, or the Silicon Valley. You can still get a job. And like, that is amazing. And I feel like this whole thing is just missing the point. Now, this is not true for every country. I get that. But in the United States, it is very, very true that you have a massive opportunity with programming. It's my project. I did it myself. Show me your project source. I'm going to copy it. It's our project. We did it together. Smiley, 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 smiley. I don't even get this joke. Okay. I don't get this. I feel left out of this joke because what does it even mean? I don't know. We have passion in programming bullshit. Everyone is picking up programming nowadays just for the money and nothing else. This one is actually one of my bigger pet peeves. I do think you can pick up programming for the money, but to be great at programming, you really do have to be passionate. And there's like this whole missing thing that's happening, which is if you want a good job, you really do have to be good. And you know what? The thing is, if you're motivated purely by money, when you land a job that is statistically better in pay than all of your other jobs, is your motivation going to wane to learn and continuously get better? Yes, it is. Will I mispronounce continuously? Yes, I will. Will you not be as good as the person that is passionate just for the sake of being passionate? Yes, you won't be as good. And so this is one of those tweets that I think is really destructive. You should have passion. You should want to be the best developer, not because you're trying to crush other people, but because you yourself should be motivated about yourself. Biggest lie, JavaScript is a career. Edwin Torres. Thank you, Edwin. Oh my goodness, this man's a champion. All is about copy and paste. You don't even need to know everything about a programming language. This one actually is a pretty astute observation, which I think kind of describes this level, right? You'll see a lot of these kind of new tech influencers coming out where they don't have a lot of years of experience, and they all laugh about how it's just copying and pasting. You don't need to learn these things. You just got to look it up. Just use Google Copilot or Microsoft Copilot, whatever, right? We get the idea that yes, there are some things you just simply have to look up to know, right? Do you remember how to check, see if a checkbox is checked in HTML? Probably just need to look that up. Not a big deal. But the reality is that the more you know about a language, the more proficient you're going to be. Okay, you're going to be able to tackle a huge swath of problems without having to look up a single thing and be limited by this constant Googling, constant trying to, frame your problem in some sort of sense. And so I really think this is a great observation. You should really try to learn the language that you use. You should really try not just simply looking up every single answer. Take a little bit of time to try to see if you can remember the solution. Try to build it. Try to do something with it, because honestly, it is one of those tragic things that I see where people just don't even know the basics of a language. That standards are always kept by everyone involved with the project. That's not funny. This is not funny. Okay, this hurts. Okay, both as a man who's worked in projects with no standards and as a man that does not have very good standards and have polluted other projects. Okay, this is painful. Okay, it's a two-way street and I'm getting cut on both sides. The biggest lie on programming is that your level of technical skill is important. False! Creativity and communication limit you more than anything else. Again, this is a very, very unique take. I would say communication is a very important aspect. Creativity, a very important aspect. But technical skill is very, very important. The fact that it just says is important across the board and then effectively claiming that it's false is just absolutely hands down wrong. Being technically competent is extremely valuable. The highest paid engineers are not paid based off their ability to be, communicative. Okay, if that's even a word. Really, some of the best paid engineers is because they have an extreme technical expertise in some arcane area that is exceptionally hard to hire for. That is the reality. The mid-paying to above mid-payings are based on more this communication type barrier. The creativity one's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure how to put that where, because to be able to be technically proficient, it does require some level of creativity. To be good at communication, it does require some level of creativity. So I don't know if that really can be disjointed, as Sam over here is suggesting. Okay, I don't know about that, Samuel. Programming is easy. You gotta be very smart to program. Programming is hard. You need to be smart. It's easy. It's easy. Learning to code is hard. And you can learn stuff via YouTube tutorials.
Biggest lie of them all.
All right, so is it easy or is it hard? Which one is it? It seems like everyone has a different opinion here. Now, I'm gonna try to clear this up right here, right now. Yes, programming is easy. Yes, programming is hard. It is hard to learn. Learning both syntax and semantics at the same time makes a task very difficult, okay? You don't often do this in your life. You did it when you were a baby. And guess what? You haven't done it in a long time. This is not easy. But once you understand how the basis of programming works, learning more becomes easier. But is programming easy? Well, in the fundamentals, yes, it is easy. A if statement is easy. A while loop, easy. For loop, easy. But putting all the things together in a complex project is actually hard. Good example. Do you understand how to do and, ors, and XORs with bits? Yeah, not too hard. You could learn all of that stuff in just like an hour. But is it hard? No, it's really not hard. But is it hard making HTTP 2? Yes, that is a long, hard project to get perfectly correct and fulfill the entire spec. So it's one of those things where it's like, what do you mean? Yes, there are easy parts. Programming itself, once you understand it, is actually quite simple. Building complex projects, is that easy? No, of course not. No one has ever said complex projects are easy. This is just ridiculous. The devil's in the details, and implementation details are your entire life. Okay, so yeah, not easy and easy, same time. Python is easiest. Python is easy. Python is good for beginners. Well, this one, the Python is good for beginners. This is actually really sound advice, okay? The fact that they're trying to display this as a lie is absurd. Python is great for beginners. It is fairly simple to learn out of all programming languages. Python is one of the easier languages to program in. It is a nice programming language to use. You don't have to think nearly as hard as you do like C++, or if you're managing your own memory. Have you used Rust? Damn it. Rust is just so not easy compared to Python. Python is easiest. Yeah, there might be a language easier than Python. I just don't know if that's actually true. Okay, Python is one of the easiest languages to learn. Now, to be obviously awesome at Python, years of experience. It takes some time, but this is just, I don't even understand how these exist, right? Yes, Python is good for beginners. Please don't look at this as a lie. If you are learning how to program, choose JavaScript or Python. Make your life easy. I personally think JavaScript is the best language to learn as a beginner. Now, before you hate me, hear me out on this one, okay? Hear me out on this one. In fact, you need to hear me on the green screen, okay? We're going back to the green screen. Hey, why is JavaScript the best one to learn? The reason why I think it's the best one to learn is that you get an opportunity to do the front end and an opportunity to do the back end. And by doing those two things together, you can determine what do you actually like. And then once you know what you like, guess what? Stop using JavaScript if it's the back end. Okay, go use Go or anything else. But if it's the front end, hey, you pretty much are limited to JavaScript. You can kind of WAS them, but you still have to interact with JavaScript. Great language to learn. Get awesome at it. Run wild. But please, if you're in the back end, stop using JavaScript. Okay, it's not good for anybody's health here. Stop it! So this last part I think is an excellent one to kind of stop on. That you have to have a formal education to be legitimate. You need a degree to understand it. That employment is accessible to people without CS degrees these days. Now, I think these, obviously this third one is kind of standing in contention to the first two, but this is all very interesting takes. Do you need a college education to get a degree? Absolutely not. You do not need a college education to get it. Can we rewind that? You don't need a college education to get a job, but it is certainly easier to get a job with a college education. These people that just have these takes where you're like, you don't need it, don't do it, you're gonna go into debt and it's horrible. These people are just so disconnected, okay? It just doesn't, it's not that simple. Do I think you need it? No. Some of the best programmers I have ever met were not educated, but some of the best programmers I've also met were educated. Some fields are way harder to get into without a really formal, rigorous education. Compiler design, you think you're just gonna walk on because you read some books? No, it is really hard to break into those type of jobs without extensive education. I'm just saying you can use ML, but to program new algorithms to really extend the base frameworks requires differential calculus, differential equations. It requires, you need partial derivatives for backprop errors, right? Like there is like a lot to it that's really hard to learn on your own and to actually show that you are good at it. So it's like one of these things that is just like, it's just such a frustrating talk on Twitter where people just have these really extreme views on everything where it's just like, you absolutely don't, you absolutely do. No, it helps to have it. It will make your life a lot easier, but is it purely able to be the only thing that makes you successful? No, you can totally do this self-taught. People at Netflix are self-taught. I've met them, I've worked next to them, I've sat next to them. It does happen. By the way, Emma right here, great point. You don't need it, but man, does it help, right? Backing me up here. This anti-cloud guy, once again, this is like the gatekeeper in the other direction, right? If that's what you believe, says the guy who maintains 11 corporate clients without a degree. Like, it doesn't matter your credentials. Your credentials do not mean that that's what everyone should do, right? Just because you didn't get a degree and you have some level of success in your life doesn't mean the person does or does not need a degree because you got successful. There's always luck in every success story. Just how it goes. So if you disagree with anything I said, lay it down on me. Hit me with some comments, okay? I want to hear your opinion on some of these takes because, you know what? These are my hot takes. And I had them quite hot this morning. But you might have different takes, so let me hear them. 3 billion devices run Java. Come on, man. It's the first write once, run anywhere piece of code. You know that this made some people salty. You know for a fact that some people got really salty about it. Oh, by the way, we got to translate this tweet. Nice.